Good morning. This is KELOLAND on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
42-year-old Francis Lang from Scotland, South Dakota is in jail and facing multiple charges, including 3 counts of first-degree murder. Lang made his first court appearance yesterday afternoon. The judge set his bond at $2 million cash only. Authorities
arrested Lang following a shooting that left 3 people dead. Angela Monclova, her father Librado, and Diane Akins. A woman and 5-year-old are still in the hospital with gunshot wounds. The Division of Criminal Investigation has taken the lead on this case. Sioux Falls police have released the name of the man who died in a shooting in a parking lot along Minnesota Avenue.
Investigators say 37-year-old Garang Along was shot and killed early Sunday morning. 2 other men were injured. Officers are still piecing together what happened. No one has been arrested.
We also have an update on a stabbing that led to a standoff and officer-involved shooting in Sioux Falls last month. Authorities say one of the stabbing victims, 70-year-old James Robert McCord, has died. Investigators say the death will be ruled as a homicide.
Police say the other 2 victims are doing okay. The suspect in the stabbing, 52-year-old Elwood Dwyer Jr., was shot and killed by law enforcement after a standoff.
Now let's get a check of our forecast with meteorologist Scott Munt. Some snow is on the way, Scott.
Yeah, we'll watch the snow and plenty of wind along with it to give us blizzard conditions eventually in the northeastern South Dakota. That's where we do want to start this morning. This is for later this evening going into tonight and tomorrow with that blizzard warning across the northeast, including Watertown to the north, Sisseton, Webster areas, Millbank also in this blizzard warning. Surrounding that in blue, winter weather advisory, and still with that winter storm watch across west central Minnesota. The snowfall amounts will be heaviest in the northeastern KELOLAND, about 2 to 4. It doesn't seem like a lot, and it's not. But when you throw in wind speeds with gusts over 50 miles per hour, even sustained around 50 miles per hour, that gives you problems for traveling with reduced visibilities. And Brian Karstens will have more details on your KELOLAND Live Doppler forecast coming up.
Thank you, Scott. Just in time for Veterans Day, a mural in Rampant City hopes to honor veterans throughout the decades.
From World War I to present conflict, this entire wall is going to be filled with images of particular wars that have involved the U.S. Local artist Aaron Piercy says this project had special meaning to him.
Obviously, there's a lot of people out there that have given everything, and they continue to sacrifice more than I have. So I think this just shows a little bit of my gratitude and appreciation for everything that they've done.
Piercy started the mural in September and hopes to finish by midsummer, depending on the South Dakota weather.
KELOLAND News is also honoring veterans with our Veterans Voices special. We'll show you what it's meant for veterans to finally fly on Midwest honor flights again.
Plus, we'll show you a project in the works to build tiny homes for veterans who are homeless. That's coming up tonight at 6:30 on KELO Extra. Augustana students have been working hard to prepare for the 125th anniversary concert taking place tonight. However, this isn't your typical band concert.
The Augustana University Band will be the first band to ever perform a new piece of internationally known composer. But being the first to perform a piece can be challenging.
We don't have someone to listen to, we don't have a reference track to go off of, so that's one of the challenges, but I feel like it'll be really interesting to see how it ends up turning out and see how our expectations of the piece are different than the composer's expectations.
The band has been able to work closely with the composer to make sure they're performing the piece as intended. When you take all of your leaves, tree branches, and pumpkins to the landfill, what happens to them? Sioux Falls residents dump about 12,000 tons of yard waste each year.
Those tons are transported to the city's regional landfill, where the compost process turns that waste into black dirt, ready for a garden or other projects.
You can see behind me there's a windrow turner that actually introduces oxygen and helps break down those microorganisms to turn it into a nutrient-rich compost that we give away to residents for free.
To learn more about how the compost process works, check out a KELOLAND.com original story by Ray Yost on our website now. That is a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
Okay, we'll begin with this, our peak wind forecast here, hour by hour. So today, without the mention of much in the way of snow yet, at least not organized snow, wind is your top story. Rapid City and Pierre, we've got winds approaching 60. In Rapid, I think at times there'll be every bit of 50 to 55-mile-an-hour wind gusts, and Pierre developing. Sioux Falls will even start getting into that 40-mile-an-hour range. You'll notice a couple little hits of snow just teasing us here in the afternoon in Watertown and Aberdeen. But as we trend into this evening, the snow rates will begin to pick up. We'll start to kind of rotate some of these bands from eastern North Dakota. At the same time, this wind, it sticks around. In fact, our eastern counties will actually amplify the peak wind forecast on the hourlies between midnight and 6 a.m. And the sample there in Sioux Falls and Marshall and Watertown kind of paints a tough picture tomorrow morning. It's not a tremendous amount of snow, but it's the fact that it's going to be blowing sideways. And anytime that happens, it does cut down on your visibility. So that's what we want to make sure you're aware of. Sioux Falls could easily end up with an inch or two, and we'll talk about that here in just a second. You'll notice our wind forecast starts to throttle back during the afternoon. It's kind of a process. It's not going to happen all at once, but gradually throughout the late afternoon, we'll start to go down in the 30-mile-an-hour range by the end of the day. And I do think the winds are really settling down into Saturday morning. Although there's another system this weekend, Saturday night, that could easily crank up the wind again. Could even bring a brief bit of some rain or snow to the air in the northeast. First things first, let's tackle for tomorrow the chance of an inch of snow. It's pretty good. It's in the high range here on Brookings, Sioux Falls, Aberdeen. 3 inches of snow, that's a different story. The best chance of getting to that level will be a small area of the northeast connected to some of the geographical features of northeast South Dakota. That strong wind will drive some of that snow up there near Webster. Could be more than 3 inches. Watertown, I think 2 to 4 should do it. Brookings could get over 2 inches of snow. Sioux Falls, 1 to 2. Looks pretty likely. Highs today, 40s out there. The wind makes it feel colder. It'll be 20 to 45 Sioux Falls, and much higher than that West River. Here comes the wind next week, by the way. But look at the temperature. We do see a cool, chilly weekend. Saturday, we're back to 42, but 38 Sunday with clouds around. But I do have some optimism that Tuesday of next week could bounce in the 50s. That's also true in Aberdeen, because even an inch or two of snow is not going to last all that long. And I do think next week, the wind machine, that's going to be a problem. We're going to have a lot of wind midweek. In fact, windy weather in Pierre. Look at 65 on Tuesday in Pierre, and we're looking at 60-degree weather already this weekend in Rapid City. Comes with another chance of a light shower, but 60s should come roaring back for western South Dakota early next week. So there are some interesting things there as we talk about extremes in weather. More coverage with our Storm Center update at KELOLAND.com.